Hey everyone, and welcome. Today, we're going to look at a project that is literally pulling technology straight out of a sci-fi movie and putting it right on your workbench. It's time to think beyond the flat screen.
Seriously, just stop and think about that for a second. Every 3D movie you've seen, every 3D game you've ever played, it's all just been a super clever trick happening on a two-dimensional surface. But what if you could make an image that had actual physical depth?
Well, that's exactly what volumetric displays are all about. They create these true three-dimensional images that exist in real space. Images you can literally walk around and see from different angles, just like a real object.
So here's what we're diving into. We'll look at what makes this a real 3D display, the incredible illusion that makes it all work, the recipe of parts you'd actually need to build one, the super cool software behind it, all the fun stuff you can do with it, and finally, how you can get started. All right, let's get right into it.
Okay, first things first. Let's talk about how this project takes this, futuristic sci-fi concept and brings it right down to earth, onto a workbench that you could actually build yourself. So this project is called Multivox. And the first thing you got to know is you can't just go out and buy this thing in a store. Instead, it's an open source project, a whole collection of plans, code, and instructions that lets all you makers and DIY folks out there build your very own volumetric display from scratch. So how does it actually work? How do you create a solid-looking 3D image out of what seems like thin air? Well, the secret sauce here is this really, really clever illusion that's all about spinning something super, super fast. And what's so cool about this is just how simple the basic idea is when you break it down. Okay, so picture this. You've got this LED panel. You flash a single 2D slice of a 3D object onto it. Then you spin that panel incredibly fast, like hundreds of times a minute. And with every tiny fraction of a rotation, you flash the next 2D slice. And your brain, with this thing called persistence of vision, it just can't keep up. It gets tricked, and it merges all those slices together, and bam, you see a solid glowing 3D object just hanging out in midair. And these little building blocks of 3D images, they've got their own special name. Just like a 2D image is made of pixels, a 3D image like this is made of voxels, which is just short for volumetric pixels. Every single little point of light you see in that 3D space, that's a voxel. All right, so let's get into the nitty-gritty. What hardware actually makes this thing tick? You might actually be surprised at how, normal a lot of these parts are. So running the whole show is a Raspberry Pi 4. The actual display part? That's two standard LED panels. You've got a simple little sensor that makes sure everything is perfectly synced up with the rotation, and for control, just a regular Bluetooth gamepad like an Xbox controller. And the frame that holds it all together? Those are parts you can 3D print right at home. So yeah, this isn't some unobtainable futuristic tech. It's built with stuff that's right at the heart of the maker community. The project actually gives you a couple of options for the hardware build. There's the Rotovox version, which is bigger and gives you a higher resolution. That's going to be great for really detailed models. And then there's the Vortex version. It's a little smaller, but it's brighter and has a faster refresh rate, which makes it perfect for fast-paced games and animations. It's really that classic choice you have to make, Detail versus performance. Okay, so we've talked hardware, but a display is just a fancy paperweight without software, right? And the way they thought about the software for Multivox is honestly just as cool as the hardware itself. The creator put it perfectly with this quote. Now, if you're not a retro gaming nerd, the Vectrex was this really unique console back in the 80s that had its own screen and used these cool vector graphics. And that's the vibe they're going for here. This feeling of a self-contained, kind of magical gadget. Something that feels like it just popped out of an alternate timeline. And they really leaned into that whole idea. The main software is called Multivox, and it's built to feel like a fantasy console. So when you fire it up, you get this launcher, and all the different programs, games, demos, 3D viewers, they look like little virtual cartridges. You just pick one and it boots up that 3D experience. It's such a charming and creative way to do things. So the big question is, what kind of cartridges can you actually use? What can this thing do? This is where you really start to see the potential of it all. One of the flagship demos is a multiplayer light cycles game. Yeah, you know exactly which 80s sci-fi movie we're talking about. Just imagine flying your light cycle around in real 3D, trying to trap your friends inside this glowing sphere. How cool is that? But it's not just about games. There's also a viewer app that lets you load standard 3D model files. The ones that end in .obj. So you can take a model of pretty much anything, a car, a character from a game, whatever, and see it pop up as a real 3D object that you can spin around and look out from every angle. And if you want to get a little more
mind-bending, there's a demo that actually visualizes a tesseract, a 4D cube. It's this really beautiful, hypnotic piece of digital art that you can just watch tumble and fold in on itself in 3D space. It's wild.
So, right about now, you're probably thinking, okay, this is amazing, but there is no way I have the skills to build one. Well, the really great news is the creators thought of that, and they've got you covered. You've got two paths here. If you're that hands-on maker type, you can absolutely dive in and build the real physical hardware. But if you're more of a software person, or you just want to dip your toes in the water first, the project comes with this awesome software simulator. It basically pops up a virtual version of the display in a window right on your computer. You can run all the same demos. You can even start writing your own code for it. No soldering iron required. It's fantastic.
So you see, this is so much more than just a cool project to look at. It's a platform, it's a playground, it's an open invitation to anyone who loves to create. Makers, coders, artists, you name it. Now that the tools to make real, honest-to-goodness 3D images are this open and accessible, it really just leaves you with one big question. What would you create with it?